Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to episode 36 of our AI GTM Talk series. As you all know, we kicked off this talk series several weeks ago, and we bring on either seasoned AI GTM tech CEOs, growth leaders, revenue leaders, or folks who are really experts in different areas within where AI is coming in and completely transforming go-to-market as we know it. And super excited today. We have uh, Lashay Lewis joining us. Lashay, how are you? Welcome.
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Absolutely. So maybe, Lashay, we can kick it off. I'll take 30 seconds to talk about what we guys are all about, and then we'll turn it over to you. The rest of the show is going to be all about you. And, I'm sure you have a lot to share and, learnings for the folks listening. So, so again, my name is Mani Iyer. At Quanzu, we specialize in what we call signal-based technology, which means we aggregate buying signals, both person level, company level, on and off the website. So all the way from a website to across a network of 90,000 media sites to, and social channels like LinkedIn, Reddit, and others. But the idea is to help companies do a much better job of operationalizing all the signal data that they can then, drive more pipeline, drive more conversions and revenue with their customers. So we work all the way from SMB to mid market. And we have some excited about some larger clients that have been coming on lately. So that's us. But Lashay, maybe we can kick it off. We'd love to learn. What do you all do, and if you can introduce Bofu.ai.
Yeah, for sure. So, hi, my name is Lashay. I am founder of Bofu.ai, which is a little mixture of everything, right? So, it's an education company that specializes in teaching marketers bottom of funnel content. It is also a SaaS company, and it is the first AI writing assistant that is able to create product led bottom of funnel content. This was born out of consulting with companies over the past 2 years. I've been in SEO for maybe about 10 plus years now, but over the
Mhm.
past 2.5 years, I've been specifically consulting on bottom of funnel strategy for B2B SaaS companies. And
Yeah.
it was a very tricky, nuanced thing for them to do. Um, so that prompted me to kind of like productize my business a lot. And I would take companies through like this 3 month sprint where we would just get everything together and, uh, you know, kind of organize their internal documents, use those internal documents to create product led bottom of funnel content. And 2 years after that, I started noticing that the people I had been working with started showing up in LLMs like GPT and Perplexity and Gemini and things like that. Um, and then now with the rise of all this stuff, Bofu being one of the ways to be able to get shown in LLMs has just been a perfect matchup to what I've been doing and practicing for 2 years up until this point, anyways.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a little bit about me and what I do and the type of company I'm trying to build.
Okay, sounds good. Maybe if you can give a little bit of color to the kind of companies you've been working with. Are they SMB, mid market, enterprise? Are they in certain industries, certain verticals? That
Yeah,
might help folks listening. Yeah.
I've worked with all type of companies, right? So it's
Okay.
it's in that B2B SaaS world,
Hmm.
but it's typically um, it could be anywhere from seed to Series C and onward. I've worked
Hmm.
with publicly traded IPO companies, but I think what what I usually tend to hone in on, or what companies tend to be attracted to the type of work that I do,
Hmm.
are companies that have rather small marketing teams,
Yeah.
really don't have a ton of resources. They're really like stretched on time and pressed on resources. And they just want a way to be able to like quickly conceptualize what it is that they need to do and be able
Hmm.
to execute quickly. Um,
Got it.
Running the consultancy for 2.5 years at first, I got the learning part down, but the quick part was still kind of long. But with the birth of Bofu, that is meant to help both sides, right? So be able to help stressed marketing teams that are under a lot of pressure that need to be able to produce this type of content that leads to pipeline.
Yeah.
But also just be able to give them the resources they need so they get the education and they get the tools all in one.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So let's just maybe hone in a little bit on content marketing, full content. Um, how has AI changed the way people approach this whole area within GTM at that you've seen? What are some top level themes that emerge for you in terms of content marketing, both for content? How is it the creation? Is the production? Is it use? Is it the types of content? I'm sure I'm asking a lot of questions
Yeah.
here, but help us understand that. Yeah.
I think I think it has touched pretty much every part of the go-to-market function.
Okay.
Um, Everything from production to creation to repurposing. Like I think
Yeah.
it's touched every part.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think people ran into it too quickly,
Mm.
and just started producing way too much too soon. A
Yeah.
lot of companies did not have good foundations in place when they
Yeah.
started putting this stuff together. And if the foundations are terrible, you're just scaling something that's terrible. Um, so I think AI did a lot of damage, probably just as much as good as it's done.
Mm.
But again, it's changed everything. But I think the companies that use it the right way are the
Yeah.
ones that are gonna obviously win in what's going on right now, like this big AI bubble that is here.
Mm.
But yeah, it's changed everything. It's changed every part of content, I believe. Yeah.
Got it. So I'm gonna pull out one thread of what you just said, which is you said if they have the foundation right.
Hmm.
So what do you consider? Okay, these are the foundational elements of doing AI right for content marketing and content bottom of funnel content.
Making sure internal teams are aligned.
Okay.
So if you are working in a company and you are not, if you're, so let's say you're in marketing and you're not talking to sales and you're
Mm.
not talking to product, a lot of the time information will sit in a silo. So
Yeah.
sales teams has very important information that marketing needs because it's our job to drive more qualified prospects to the sales team for them to close.
Correct.
Um, if we don't know what's closing, how do we know what to drive? How do we
Makes
know who to
sense.
talk to,
Mm-hmm.
in the content? So I think the foundations are really just great communication. Like that's step one. Um,
Okay.
Step two is to kind of have like things consolidated. So not having half your documents in HubSpot, the other half in Google Workspace, the other half in Notion, having
Mm.
all of your documents in one place centralized. So
Yeah.
whatever team needs to get to those documents can properly get to them. But
Mm.
now with AI here, so AI can be able to properly read through these documents the way
Mm.
it needs to, in order
Got
to
it.
be able to help create that content strategy. Yeah. So I think first one is just pure sheer communication. Second one is gathering all the internal documents and having a centralized knowledge base for that.
Got it. Got it. And there's also the question or issue of call it content being current and still relevant and not having stale content. And I'm sure that also has a part to play here.
Yeah, for sure. I just, at least from what I've seen with AI search, like they reference obviously things that are more relevant,
Yeah.
meaning it's not 5, 10 years old, maybe even 3 years old.
Hmm.
Um, but the good news with that is that AI can help with all that stuff. It can help refresh content. It can help produce new content. It's just, it needs to be used in the proper way to be able to do those things. But um, as much as we have to keep up with, AI can help us keep up with those things. We just need to be doing that um, in a way that's still where it's still quality over quantity. Because a lot of people flip that and it
Mm.
was quantity over quality.
Mm.
And now, and up until this point, they've started to see the downsides of that. Like their rankings have tanked or their websites got slapped or some penalty or something of that nature. But
Yeah.
yeah, like if your content should be updated, but again, if you have a lot of content on the website, you can get that done with AI. It's just a matter of doing that in the correct fashion and not just saying, hey, we're just gonna, you know, go through everything and produce 200 pieces in 2 weeks. And, that's not
Yeah.
the right way to think about this
Got it.
process.
Right. And I know, Lashay, when we were talking ahead of this call, you mentioned that you have your own framework for BOFU and bottom of funnel content. And um, I think it'd be amazing. You said you might be able to share, how you think about that framework and how you think about
Yeah.
creating that kind of BOFU content using the current set of AI apps and tech and tools. So, I mean, people who watch our, watch these sessions, they really like it when it's really show and tell. And I know you have something to show. So, love if you are able to get into that now. Thank you.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to walk everybody through kind of like how I think about putting a bottom of funnel strategy together and some of the things that I just talked to you about in terms of just how do we get these internal docs together? When we do get them together, where do we put them? What does that look like?
Yeah.
So let's start off with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So just to confirm, can you see Claude here?
Yes. Yeah, we can see your Claude.
Okay. So I'm using a company from one of my favorite clients that I've worked with thus far. And I think this is important to use because I have a lot of people ask me, well, can I do this for services businesses too? And the answer is yes. There are just some things that you need to swap out and change. So Work Proud and Online Rewards is a service style, but also software too. It's a
so sorry, Lashay. Any chance we can zoom in a bit? I think it's a little hard to read for folks watching. Yeah.
Is that
That
better?
helps. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep.
Okay. So the first step in all of this is remember what I told you, communication. That's something that I can't necessarily demonstrate.
Yeah.
But one tip for that is if you can start a Slack channel with
Mm-hmm.
one person from each team in the channel, somebody from sales, somebody from customer success, somebody from product, and somebody from marketing.
Yeah.
And talk amongst yourselves in that Slack channel and share information and things like that. But the second step of this, having that centralized knowledge base, and again, this wouldn't necessarily be the centralized knowledge base, like it could be workspace, whatever. But the reason that you want to have that is because you want to put that information in here. So this is Work Proud's internal documentation, some of it, not all of it. But I
Again,
was able to
sorry, Lashay. Any chance you can zoom in just a little bit? Yeah. For readability.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
So this is their internal documentation. And again, it's not all of it, but it's some of it. And
Yeah.
the reason I was able to get this was because they had it all together. Now imagine if I go to them and say, hey, well, I need some internal docs. It's like, hey, well, we got to go to this person and talk to that person and go to this person. They had all of this stuff together for me when we started engaging, which made my job a whole lot easier, right? This goes for any companies that want to bring in freelance writers, consultants, whatever that looks like. Having the documents together for them will get you up and running so much quicker, and it helps you be able to help them do their job better. So
Yeah.
we have, yeah,
Sorry, quick question. So
yeah.
you're showing us Claude. You're showing us, is it a workspace within Claude that has the docs, or is it a separate app or tool that has all the docs consolidated?
That's a great question. So this is Claude Projects.
Right.
So I love Claude Projects because you can reference. So for example, with Claude Projects, you're able to, if I start a chat here, I'm able to reference something that's in this one. So that's why I do Claude Projects. But this information was originally in Google Workspace. But if you go here, you can pull information straight from Google Drive into here, or you can do it from the computer too.
Hmm.
Um, so that's the first step in all this. And again, I have this here, and you can see the capacity is quite large. You can add a ton more internal docs in here. So after I do this part, the first step in this process, which is what a lot of people skip, is customer and product research. So to kind of take you, yeah,
Sorry, Lashay, one quick clarification question. Does each person who needs to collaborate on this content related work, do they need to have their own Claude license? And then do they need to share this one Claude project between them?
that's a great question. That I'm not entirely sure of. I do
Okay.
believe you can share chats within Claude. How much
Yeah.
they can use them, I'm not sure. But if you're running something in here and you want to share it with somebody, you can. But I don't
Mm.
have any information on if they're going to upcharge you for that or what that
Got
looks
it.
like. But I'll
Got it.
go through, like, if somebody else needs to comment on this information, I'll go through how I walk through that process too.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. So the first step of this process is the customer and product research. So what I have here, so first of all, I use templates for almost everything. Some things can't necessarily fit in a template, and that's okay, but the majority of the stuff can. So the first thing I do is I upload a markdown file called a market analysis prompt. So essentially, what this does is it's a prompt that tells Claude to go into that internal documentation that I showed you
Yeah.
and pull in everything that we need to know about our market, our ICP, our persona, break it down by like their responsibilities and daily activities, what are their pain points and challenges, goals and objectives. Just anything that you would need to know is all in here.
Got
So
it.
once I upload this markdown, what I'll do is I'll come into Claude and I'll say, hey, using the internal documentation that we have, fill in this market analysis framework. And it'll go through, and you can see it's going through the internal documentation to be able to pull in this information for me. And then when I'm done with that, what this will spit out is a market analysis sort of document here. So it has like a product portfolio identification. This is wonderful for SaaS companies that have multiple products and multiple personas. I tend to work more with horizontal companies.
Right.
So this is like their product suite, online rewards, work proud, catalog API, my points rewards. Like this is all of their products.
Yeah.
And then the product category, the function, the target market, and a brief description. If we scroll down further, we've got a couple notes here. If we scroll here, this is the market analysis, like their product category, which is here, the primary use case, the different target companies. Again, do we have multiple ICPs? And if they are, what does that look like? Kind of like the question you asked me in the beginning, Manny, where it was like, is it mid-market? Is it small business? Like who are we talking to?
Yes.
And then even within that, like target departments, so human resources and
Yeah.
VP of sale, like all this different stuff, the elevator pitch. Then we do a persona deep dive. So per persona, what is their basic profile? Like what's their job title in the department, in the seniority level, in the company size? What are their responsibilities on a daily basis? What are their pain points and challenges, goals and objectives? Like, and it'll break this down per ICP. So, or in this case, per persona. So per persona 2, and then persona 3. So it just gets into all this different stuff that you would need to know about the company. Not just for you, so that AI has context on this as well. So this is step 1 of the process. Again, customer and product research. If we go back to the beginning, step 2, and zooming in a little bit here, step 2 is competitor research. Right. So when it comes to bottom of funnel content, we rely heavily on what competitors are doing from 2 aspects. What are they doing so we can kind of understand what the lay of the land looks like? And number 2, what are they doing so we can do it better? So in this instance, I do something before this, and let me show you that. I think that would be helpful. I run 2 different analyses using Perplexity. So just to show you kind of like what that prompt looks like, it's pretty long, but um, this is just talking about, hey, these are the things I want to know. I want to identify competitors. Here are the deliverables you're going to give me. Break it down by niche, broad, and direct competitors. Phase 2, like what are the capabilities? So a ton of stuff here. And then, of course, Perplexity will go and do the deep research. And then it'll spit me out an executive summary and kind of what this looks like, a little matrix, and just a ton of different information on the company, like feature tables, all this stuff. I don't necessarily like how Perplexity delivers the information. I think it could be more neat. So once I run this prompt, I export it as a markdown. And then I will upload that markdown directly into Claude, which is here.
Yeah.
And then I have a competitive intelligence template, which is here. So I'll say, hey, this is the company name, boom. Give me an executive summary, company profile and market position, direct competitors, list 3 to 5, broad. So this entire prompt here will then give me this. And again, I run this 2 times. Number 1 for the company that I'm working with, because I want to see how they are seen externally, right? So what we did in the customer and product research, I was able to see how they're seen internally, but now I want to know what the market says about them externally. So I run this externally on them. Again, direct, niche, and broad competitors, what that looks like, market gaps and customer pain points. What are some pains that other people using other products are seeing, or in this case, what are some pains that people using our product are seeing, right? Competitive positioning, just all types of stuff in here, right? So this is the first report that I run. The second report that I run is on the actual competitor. So I've got another template in here. And this is one of their competitors. Again, I pull, so I guess taking back over to Perplexity real quick. The second prompt that I run is directly on the competitor. So for example, Kudos is one of the competitors to WorkProud. So I've got this long prompt in here, very similar to the first one. And again, more information in here, just breaking this all down. The cool thing about this is that prompt where it's like break it down by niche, direct, and broad competitors, I do that for my competitors. So it's almost like a never-ending list of competitors that you get access to. So once I do that, I come back over to Claude. Then I, again, export that as a markdown, upload it in here, put another template that I have for the competitor, again, the prompt in here. This spits me out a competitor threat assessment. So essentially, what does the market say about our competitor? So more executive information, a competitive landscape, what that looks like, their market gaps and their vulnerabilities, so we can understand how we can fill in those. Head-to-head battle, so we can understand positioning and things like that. Just a ton of information, right? So like, okay, great. This is the competitor part for this. And if you have 10 competitors, do this for all 10 of them and put them in the competitor chat of your project, right? So again, what that looks like, put all that information in here. So every step of the process is a different chat group. So from there is keyword research, right? So for keyword research, what I have is I use frameworks for a lot of different stuff. So I have a markdown here of what type of keywords I want to pull from this. So based on the internal documentation, again, I think a lot of people think about keyword research wrong. A lot of times they do it externally and then internal. You actually need to be looking at internal and then external. So I have this prompt here. It tells me, hey, break out the keywords this way by department, break it out by pattern, just every way possible. We're hitting this from every angle we possibly can. This is more ICP based. I have several of these, but just to show you what the ICP one looks like. So it'll go through the target departments, just get it some information going and just doing that. It does job and responsibility mapping. So just to like zoom in here, breaks it down by finance, things like that. Phase 3 keyword pattern recognition, right? So This is the kind of like the template of how it should be structured.
Hmm.
And these are the bottom of funnel keywords right here. So sales incentive platform, HR recognition software, finance reward tracking tool. And it will keep doing this over and over and over and over. Job title plus whatever plus tool, right? So job
Right.
title plus job to be done plus tool, VP sales productivity platform. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. And this is important because this gives the team something to pull from. We never have to be like, well, what keyword should we go after today? Um,
Yeah.
there's always something here for us to be able to pull from. And what you can do, if you're one of those people that's like, well, hey, Lashay, I need a tool to be able to tell me if this is really like, do these really get search volume? All you need to do is pull up a tool like Ahrefs, like SEMrush, and
Hmm.
put these search terms in that tool to validate if they have search volume or not.
Hmm.
Now, I'm more of a zero keywords type of individual. Like it does not have to have search volume for me to go after it. That's a whole
Hmm.
nother conversation. But if you want some sort of validity behind it where you have to show it to somebody and you have to, show them, hey, here's why we're going after this. This
Yeah.
is a whole lot of keywords from you to pull from.
Right.
So and again, I break this down 4 different ways.
Hmm.
I break this down by ICP, by features, by competitors. Um, and I think there's one more. Manny, I'm going off the script a little bit, but I just want to show them.
Yeah.
I want to
I
show
gotta
them how.
say, this is incredible stuff, Lashay. I mean, this is gonna take people
Thank you.
forever to get the way you're able to get so much done so quickly by having all these amazing prompts you put together. It's amazing.
Yeah. It took a while to get to this point.
Yeah.
But once you do, you can execute really, really quickly.
Right.
So just to show you how I look at keyword research, I look at it like this.
Right.
So I break out from 4 different sections. I break it out by ICP,
Yeah.
by category,
Mm-hmm.
competitors, and
Mm.
features. So it
Yeah.
looks something, I call this the Bofu radar. And it looks a little something like this, but when you tackle keywords from all different angles like this, it it helps you not to be able to leave no stone left unturned. You're
Mm.
capturing everything, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of think about that. So in terms of that, I guess if I could show you, so this is the ICP. This is another one for the category breakdown, like how many bottom of funnel keywords can I find from a category perspective?
Right.
And again, I have several of these, but this is this part. This is the keyword research. The
Correct.
next part after this is the actual content production piece of this.
Right.
So the I did say I have frameworks for everything, but these are like the frameworks, right? So the all of that information that I collected previously gets plugged into these bottom of funnel frameworks. So essentially, I have like 5 core, but to show you one and kind of what that looks like from a markdown perspective,
Right.
um, I have it where it's like, and I think, you know what, since I have that other one pulled up, I'm going to show them kind of what this looks like. Hold on.
Yeah.
So just to show you conceptually how I think about bottom of funnel content, I think about it like this.
Okay.
I look at bottom of funnel content very modular.
Mm.
So there are some things that we want to pull out of here, right? There are pain points, benefits, features, capabilities in the current way that people are doing things.
Yeah.
And when I think about bottom of funnel content, I'm like, okay, again, if I'm thinking about this in modular blocks, I'm like,
Right.
okay, I want to lead off with the pain points. So these are the pain points, and I got these directly from the team. So I know these are real, actual pain points.
Yeah.
And then when I come down here in the content, I want to talk about the features. So this is something else that a lot of people get wrong too. When they think about SEO content, they think about how many keywords can I get in here? How do I make sure I rank for those keywords? Do my H2s need to be keyword driven? The answer is no. When it
Mm.
comes to bottom of funnel content, you actually want to do less of that. And I'll show you how this plugs into being surfaced in GPT and Perplexity. But
Mm-hmm.
having your features here, having capabilities here, broken down. Here's how the product works specifically, having contextual examples in here of, like, for example, you're this person and here's how you would use this product. And just keep repeating that process all the way down the entire article. Now, the importance of doing things this way and including real pain points and benefits and features and capabilities in the content is that that's how people are starting to search with LLMs. The searches are becoming more contextual. It's less best resume builder, right? It's best resume builder. Or let me use this example. It's less Resi alternatives and more, hey, I'm using Resi alternative as a resume builder and I'm having trouble with X, Y, and Z. Can you recommend a solution for me? And to show you kind of, and again, I'm going so off the script, but I think this will be really helpful. When I think about LLMs and searches, I think about contextual search. So again, this is what LLM searches are starting to look like. And this is what they do look like right now, right? So if I'm somebody looking for a solution like Teal, I would say, hey, I'm looking for a job, right? That's the persona. That's who we're talking to, somebody that's looking for a job. And I need a resume builder. A resume builder is the category. I'm struggling to show the impact of my work in managing my multiple resumes. That's the pain point. I need a tool that lets me edit and manage in one place. That is the capability. Can you recommend a resume builder that can help with this, right? So notice here is the persona, and I don't have the version where I have this highlighted, but here is the persona. Yeah. Here are the pain points that match the pain points that are over here. And throughout the article, we have the capabilities. And when you structure your content that way, what happens is you will start to show up in LLMs. So if somebody comes to Perplexity, and you can try this, you can see if they pop up, but if somebody comes to Perplexity and says, what's the best resume builder if I have multiple resumes? Why do I put that? Because I know that's a pain point because I got that directly from the team. Yeah. And if you type that in, they were the first ones to come up for that. Also, if I go to GPT, and I do a different search, I'm looking for a job and I need a resume builder and I'm struggling to show the impact of my work, blah, 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 blah. Like Teal comes up again. And then AI is smart enough to understand something called synonymous search, meaning you do not have to get the exact query that the person is typing in spot on in order for your solution to show up. You just need to be topically relevant. So here's another search. I'm having trouble keeping track of my resumes across different platforms. What tool would be best to help with this? Right. Teal comes up again, right? So this is the importance of making sure you have real pains and real benefits and real features and capabilities in your bottom of funnel content, because this is how you surface in LLMs, at least from what I'm finding right now. So side tangent over.
But I wanted to take a step back and ask you this, which is, how do you think about the different types of content that are quote bottom of the funnel? Like what are the different flavors of types of content should people focus on and build out? Call it rank order, 1 to 3, 1 to 5 in your mind.
That's a great question. So for context, for the first 2 years I was doing this, I was strictly focused on comparison pages. Okay. So best versus an alternative are like my top. That's my jam. What I consider bottom of funnel, anything at the decision stage level, right? So again, best of blogs versus blogs, alternative blogs, integration pages, case studies. I think solution pages as well. Anything that somebody would come in contact with before they turn into a prospect is what I consider to be bottom of funnel in my mind. It's less about the content type and more about the intent. If the intent is to convert somebody, because emails can even be bottom of funnel, depending on the intent of the email, you know, you have some emails that are meant to nurture, and then you have some emails that are meant to convert. But if I had to rank them, I would definitely say, like, again, best of blogs, versus blogs, alternatives, integration pages, case studies, and solution pages. Like those are like the top ones that I would go after, and kind of like the ones when I'm working with clients, the ones I focus on.
Yeah.
I want to mention something too. Vivian, the lead SEO at Webflow, also
Mm.
talks about this as well, where she talks about including FAQs on your product pages to be able to be cited more in LLM. She has a whole study on this. Go check
Mm.
her out. But bottom of funnel is, I'm finding, is the way into LLMs, not just from a blog post perspective, but from a website perspective in general.
Got it. Got it. I think next question would be, you have this incredible library of prompts.
Yeah.
um, how did you come up with those prompts? What was the process? How did you put it together and codify all that knowledge that you have into those collection of prompts? What did that take?
Oh, a lot of work. A lot of getting it wrong.
Okay.
So first of all, I first seen this market gap with AI tools not being able to create bottom of funnel content in 2023. Like that's when
Right.
I first seen it. 2024, I tried to do all this. I tried to codify it into a product, fell completely on my face, screwed up, messed up everything. But I will say the pathway to codifying your knowledge is through productization. That's how I did
Right.
it.
Right.
So the first step in all of this was just like productizing my knowledge. What's
Mhm.
step one? What's step two? What's step three? What does that look like? And then making that very repeatable.
Hmm.
And you asked me such a good question, and now it makes me want to show you something else.
Yeah, so I think you know what we do. This is the perfect time because we've been talking about your learnings, your challenges, and I know you've been productizing this into an app. Yeah,
Yes.
maybe you can talk about the genesis of that. I think it was all the work you've been doing with customers, but I think you now are at the point. I mean, do you have something to show us?
Yes. So
Okay, let's do it.
this is a lot of information for people. I totally get that. This is a very manual process. It's not too bad once you have all the markdowns and the templates and all this stuff, but um over the past 2 years, I've been trying to perfect this process and codify this knowledge, and I have finally been
Mm,
able to get something.
mhm.
And that is like Bofu.ai, an actual tool.
Yeah.
So just to run you through what I've done here. Um,
So,
the
so is
biggest
it fair to say that whatever you did through Claude, through Perplexity, a lot of those tools and the framework that you have kind of operationalized in those tools, is your tool going to basically automate a lot of that so that it's one stop? You just go into the app. I know I'm talking ahead a little bit. Is that what you're trying to do?
Oh, you're fine. Yes. So I'm going
Yeah.
to give you a direct example of
Hmm.
how what I just showed you plays into this.
Right.
So the first part of Bofu, and this is the part that other AI tools could not do unless you are very well versed technically, um, was be able to pull me features and capabilities. So remember that article I showed you with all the different colors in it? Like
Yes.
you can do most of that with GPT. I hate GPT now. It's so bad. The update was terrible, so I moved to Claude and Perplexity, but you can do most of that with those tools. What
Hmm.
those tools kind of do not allow you to do, again, unless you are technically inclined, is be able to pull features and capability images. So what
Hmm.
I've built into Bofu is a product knowledge base where essentially a company will give me access to like a dummy account or something like that, and
Hmm.
Bofu will go throughout the entire product and pull out all the features and capabilities of the product. Not just that, but it'll give me detailed information on that specific capability and exactly how it works, what this looks like. Um, and this is the foundation for everything.
Got
So,
it. So
yeah,
hold on a
yeah,
second. What are you going through? Are you going through the customer's website or are you going through their internal documents or both?
both. So
Oh,
I don't just go through the website, I go through the actual product. So
mm.
they need to give
Oh,
me
so the
some sort
actual
of
app. So you actually literally, it's like you're logging into the app and you're going through the different screens and what people might be able to do. And
Yes.
Hold on. Oh wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
So
go ahead.
Bofu acts as a user of the product. So it moves
Mhm.
around and functions like it's an actual user, but it captures screen by screen what it's doing.
Okay.
So this is the foundational piece. After this, we come in the back end of the product. And I've built some things in here, like a little bit of an overview section, competitors. Now,
Sorry, Lucia, are you trying to share a screen because we're not seeing it, not yet.
oh, which one are you?
We're just in
Let's see. Hold
conversation
on.
right now. So if you're trying to demo something,
Oh, I gotta go back
yeah,
because I was showing you. Hold on, one
yeah.
second. Let me show you here.
Okay,
Here you go. Okay.
right, right,
Let me. Okay. So the part I was just talking about was the product knowledge base where Bofu goes through your product
yeah,
and pulls out every feature and capability in the product. And again, it acts like it's a human going through the product and actually using it.
yeah.
Um, and then it will specifically explain what it is that you're looking at directly in here. So think about it almost like the job that a product marketing manager would have, this does.
Oh wow,
So this is the first part of the system. And then the second part of the system back here is just like a little bit of an overview, competitors, right? So if you remember that whole flow I was just showing you with Perplexity and Claude,
right,
this is that flow, but it's just
yeah,
in my own system, right?
right, right,
So
right.
I have a competitor here. So there's it Perplexity running on the back end, and then it organizes the information in Claude, and then we get something that looks like this. This looks
Mhm.
very familiar to the stuff I was showing you before
Yes.
in Claude, right? Because it's the same thing, but here you can, it cites where it got the information from, all of the sources, everything like that, everything you would need to know about your competitor. Um,
Hmm.
Back here, we have writing guidelines. And again, this could be as short or as long as you want it to be, whatever that looks like. Because I know a lot of companies really care about, oh, my guidelines, and I want to follow this and stick to that. So I have that built into here. The next part of this is the documents. This is where, remember, I told you in the beginning about having like a centralized knowledge base for your documents.
Hmm.
Um, this plays a role into that, right? So when you upload your documents in here, AI has an enrichment feature that will automatically like categorize and tag this stuff for you.
Good.
But again, it gives AI deep context on not just the product from a product perspective and a feature and capability perspective, but also a market perspective. Like,
Good.
who's the persona we're going after? What's the market look like? Things like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then from there, I mean, I have another part in here too I could show, which is just like some data sources. So, for example, we have a sitemap in here that will pull back every URL on the website just in
Yeah.
case. So, remember what you were talking to me before about refreshing content?
Right.
Um, that's what this is for. So, like, if we have a particular article that we want to refresh, we can do that because Bofu has access to every URL on the website and it'll be able to reference whatever you need to update. Um,
Amazing. Got it. So, in the interest of time, I mean, I know you have, there's so much stuff here. What do you recommend? Because I'm sure a lot of our listeners will want to learn more about GoFood.ai.
yeah.
Where are you at with the product evolution? Are you taking on new clients, customers? Can we try it out? On and on.
Yeah, that's a great question. So Bofu is currently in closed beta. We are letting
Okay.
people in right now, but it's very sales led. We talk to everybody.
Got it.
We are, again, in that closed beta stage, but we're getting feedback from the customers that are already in here and using the product.
Yeah.
And just helping them be able to create product led pieces like this one and things like that.
Got it.
But yeah, it's in closed beta right now. If this is of
What?
interest to anybody, they can either reach out to me on LinkedIn, go to bofu.ai and be able to book a call, whatever that looks like for them.
Got it. And who's your ideal customer for GoFood.ai? Is it an SMB, mid market, where you're trying to design this app product for?
That's a great question. Either or, right? I think
Okay.
the biggest prerequisite is that you have a SaaS product. That's the
Hmm.
biggest prerequisite. Because the reason for that is because Bofu needs to go through your product.
Yep.
And what it does is it'll take this information that it pulls into the product base and
Yeah.
be able to create you a bottom of funnel product led article like this one.
Got it.
Um, yeah. So the biggest thing is just you are a SaaS company. You do not have to be B2B, but as long as you are a SaaS company, good to
Yeah.
go.
You know what, Lashay? I think we're gonna have to have you come back because there's so many questions we didn't even get to. I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you about how do you see AI completely changing content marketing? The future. How do you see the world? The next 6, 12, 18 months. But we're literally
Yeah.
out of time. So, thank you. I mean, this is a really, really, insightful, very valuable session. I'm sure for folks listening and watching. But what do you think? Would you want to come back and we can do a part two at some
Of
point?
course. I see. I was a little bit. See, we had a whole thing laid out that we were gonna do, and I just totally went off the rails with it. But I would love to come back and be able to dive a little bit more deeply into, like, again, how I think about bottom of funnel in its entirety, like how I run
Yeah,
content strategy for companies. I have a lot of visuals and
yeah,
frameworks and templates I could share with people.
amazing.
So I think it'd be good to, yeah, run this back for sure.
Let's do that. Let's do that. We'll be back in touch on that. But I'm going to put up the thank you slide, which has your information so folks can see it. So, folks, that was episode 36 of AI GTM Talks. We had Lashay Lewis. Hopefully, you all got a lot of value out of it. I certainly did. And Lashay, how can people get in touch with you? I think we've got your email and LinkedIn. Are those the best way?
Those are the main ways to get in touch with me. You can subscribe to me on YouTube as well, because I'll be creating an entire YouTube channel around all of this, breaking down visual frameworks, just doing a ton of stuff on there. So if you just type in Lashay Lewis on YouTube, you should be able to find me over there. But yeah, this has been amazing. Thank you so much, Manny, for inviting me.
Absolutely. And folks, for those who missed it, you will be able to catch a recording of this on LinkedIn Live on the Kwanzu page on LinkedIn. And you can also find it on YouTube at youtube.com/@Kwanzu Marketing.